Welcome to the Student Athlete Spotlight, featuring local high school sports. We'll have candid interviews with coaches, students, and more. So it's playtime.
And the ones that are still interested, but you couldn't see in the spring, you still go see them in the summer. And, that's where offers are earned mostly this in the off-season is at summer camp. So you go.
I feel like one of the most important things is, would I go to this school if it wasn't for lacrosse? But I also care about, the majors they have and, what I can study for, because lacrosse isn't forever. I need to find a job in the future.
This episode is sponsored by A&G Electric, located in Mechanicsville.
All right, we're here on Student Athlete Spotlight. I have Megan Gray from Leonardtown High School, junior, lacrosse player heading to Frostburg for college in the future. And Lake Dawson, football player from Leonardtown High School. Still figuring it all out. Football is a little bit different as far as recruiting goes, right? With the process, it's definitely later than lacrosse.
Yeah.
Or a lot of the sports that have club and some are so important. Baseball, soccer, basketball, these other sports are so different than football. So it's nice to have a mix of both. Honestly. But, one of the things I wanted to ask both of you, and I'll start with Lake, is, the process is frustrating, right? It's a roller coaster, right? And it's more down than up sometimes, So talk about that for you. What are some things that, you've experienced or, in that process?
As being recruited, it's definitely a slow start. Nothing comes, you don't just create a Twitter profile and boom, coaches they're not there. You got to go chase after them and stuff. So, but then when you do go chase after them, you're going to get rejected a lot. Mm-hmm. I've texted many coaches, been left on red many times, been left undelivered. Some don't follow me back, but, eventually one will follow, and that's where it all starts.
That's all you need.
But, don't give up hope if it takes months or even a year or until your senior year, because eventually, if you work hard enough, it will happen.
That's great advice. And your parents too, right? Parents they care so much, right? We want our kids to be better than us. We do as parents. So take care of your moms and dads, right? Tell them to relax. It's all going to work out.
Yep.
And we'll get there, right?
Yep.
How about for you in your process? Was there some times where we're just kind of down on yourself, or really we're like, man, how's this going to work out? I don't think anybody's recruiting me. I want to play college sports so bad. I love this. You love the sport, right? You love lacrosse. That's why you play.
Yeah.
So talk about your experience.
Before and then CAA changed the rules. You could get recruited before your junior year. People were being recruited freshman year, 8th grade even. But now with the rule, it's September 1st in your junior year. And with that date, it does give a little pressure, because I did start off a little late, emailing coaches, doing things like that. I didn't really get a look. So I started pretty late. I started emailing coaches my sophomore year.
Okay.
Which was pretty late for me, because a couple months later, boom, everyone's already going to go get committed.
Right.
So it was a lot of pressure, especially on social media. The day September 1st hit, you see on social media, committed to UMD, committed Notre Dame.
Right.
So it's a lot of pressure.
And it's hard because you see it.
Yeah.
And I always tell student athletes to not get so enamored with social media, because it's easy to get frustrated and be like, I'm never going to get recruited, this is ridiculous. And also comparisons. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
We all do it, right? But someone ever tell you that? Don't compare yourself to somebody else? That's important, because then you really get down on yourself. You're like, well, I know I'm better than that person, but who knows? It's not like there's a rhyme or reason in recruiting, right? It's very, subjective. People are looking for certain things and certain systems and offenses, defenses, whatever it is. So let me switch gears. I want to talk about, I feel like Leonardtown has a great camaraderie of the student body towards sports. So do you go to football games?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. And what's that like?
It's really fun. You go with your friends, you dress up, you cheer on your team.
What do you dress up as?
Well, we usually have themes.
Different themes?
Yeah.
What's your favorite theme?
Probably, I don't know, I like blackout.
The blackout?
Yeah, I like that.
So you just wear all black?
Yeah, I wear a trash can.
You wear a trash can?
Yeah.
Trash bag or a trash can?
Both.
What?
Yeah.
Did you cut a hole in the bottom? So
Yeah.
How'd you keep it up? You're
Well, I
little.
took it off in the middle of the game. But
So how'd you walk with it? You just hold the handles?
yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're serious. Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty wild. And now you just got to Leonardtown. You're new, but you already kind of knew about that. Have you been to any other sporting events yet?
No, I have not.
I guess none have really started since you got here, though, right?
Yeah, no.
But you do know about the camaraderie and
Yeah, I've seen pictures on social media of the football stands packed out, so
right.
I'm excited.
Cool. We get to go to some girls lacrosse games this spring.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna win the SMAC, right? That's what I'm hearing? Okay.
Yeah.
How you gonna do that? What's that look like?
Well, our team is really good thanks to my coach, Cynthia Lisa. She's like
Okay.
one of the best coaches. She played at Navy.
Great.
And this year, I feel like, especially like with the upcoming freshmen, they're like really good. So I feel like that's really gonna help out with our season. And like we're like really close as a team. Like we do a lot of things together, like outside of lacrosse. So I feel like that's really gonna help us this year.
That's great. Give me one thing you've done as a team outside of lacrosse.
Team dinners, team breakfasts, and we're gonna have like a team sleepover. We're gonna go out to I think we're gonna watch a college game together and stay at a hotel overnight, things like that.
And it inspires you when these guys come watch the game, right?
Mhm.
Gets you excited?
Yeah.
That's great. So in the recruiting process, you have to attend camps, right? That's how you get recruited. For lacrosse, a little bit different. You're going to you have summer teams and you go compete at festivals or showcases, right? For you go. But from a football perspective, for you, like right now, you're gearing up. You're going to go to some spring practices, right? Watch spring practice, meet some coaches. In May, they'll come see you. They'll watch you work out. And then June and July, you basically go audition, right?
Yeah.
So how do you pick camps? Like, what's that look like?
Well, you really pick the ones that you want to go to and the ones that have responded and also want to see you in person. So for spring practices, you reach out to college coaches that you're interested in, and if they respond, great. You go see them in spring and in summer. Like for me, Coach Cunningham reached out to Frostburg, and they wanted to see me, so I'm going this weekend to Frostburg to go see a practice and meet the coaches.
Great.
And I'm getting a tour as well, so that's nice.
Great.
And in the summer, just the ones you go to in spring, if they really like you, they'll keep talking to you. You go visit them in the summer, and the ones that are still interested but you couldn't see in the spring, you still go see them in the summer, and that's where offers are earned mostly this in the off season is at summer camp. So you go
because they have your film, that's your resume, and then you go there and they watch you work out.
Yep.
One of the hardest things too for recruiting is real versus fake recruiting. Because you get invited to every camp, right? Everybody invites you to their camp, and it's weaving through all that to figure it out. That's one of the hardest things, right?
Yeah.
Is that the same for you too? You get invited to a lot of camps.
You get like the real and fake emails, and you can kind of tell which one's which.
Because some are just mass emails everybody gets, but you want to try and get to that point where, hey, this coach really likes me. They're personalizing it, to get to me. So how did you pick your camps?
At first, I started off on just schools I liked. I was like, I like this school. I guess I'll go to their camp.
It was sophomore year. After my sophomore year, Notre Dame sent me a text like, "Hey, come to our camp." And they've never reached out to me before, which was made sense. I'm a sophomore.
Right.
First time they ever reached out to me, but it was like you could tell it was like they've programmed something to type out the same message to all sorts of
people.
kids.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I was the happiest man alive for that day.
Right.
And I go to their camp, and the coach does not care for me. I do one-on-ones. I'm winning my reps, and
you're doing great. They don't. Yeah.
They don't care. There's other kids you can tell at the camp that they prioritize those kids more because they're more engaged with them. They have them do a drill more, or they critique them. And when I do the drill, they're just like, okay, next person.
Right. And I mean, it's a great point you bring up, Blake, because for student athletes, especially in football, but any sport, if you're going to go to their camp, you're going to spend time there. Make sure they know who you are before you go to camp, because there's so many kids. I know it's hard sometimes at the showcases. You got 500 kids probably, lacrosse players at a tournament, right? But you want to try and, make sure the coaches know you're there, what team you're on. And with you, it's about, hey, I'm coming to camp. What do you guys think? Let's figure this out. And that's where, you made the point, go to spring practice, meet the coaches, work out for them in May. They come see you, be on Twitter, create the communication, right? Yep. And then figure out, because there's so many camps, and you can't do them all. You're going to do a handful, right? So that's one of the hardest things, in this equation. But I would tell student athletes that are going through it to make sure you communicate with the coaches. And if they're not getting back to you, there's probably a reason, right? That means they're not interested, so you need to move on.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest things in the beginning. Then you start figuring it out, and you find the ones that do like you. Because, for football, a lot of times, you might only be one or two schools, unfortunately. But that's the way it works, So did you feel like there's a lot of schools in lacrosse that recruited you?
It all depends on your club team, the travel team you play for. The better the club, of course, more coaches are gonna watch you. But it's also better recruitment as well. So with your club team, you go to these you go to usually the top tournaments, certain tournaments that you'll know a bunch of coaches will be at. You'll go on the tournament site, you'll see the list of coaches that'll be there, and then prior to that you'll email them, and then you'll see them on the field watching you.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's one.
Now, was your team in the area, or did you have to travel far to get on your team?
It's not too far. It's an hour and a half, or.
So 90 minutes away for practice?
Yeah, it's in near Annapolis.
So that's pretty far.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So, I mean, but down here, it doesn't seem as far, but 90 minutes is for a normal kid to go 90 minutes to play on a travel team. It's pretty far. But you have to do those things.
Yeah,
right?
for better recruitment.
And were you on a different team when you were younger? Did you play on a local travel team that wasn't?
I started my freshman year, so during that I didn't play.
You started playing lacrosse as a freshman? Oh, wow. Is Lake any good at lacrosse?
I don't know.
You never saw him play?
We'll figure out senior year.
You're going to play?
Wait, what?
Yep.
Why aren't you playing now?
Season already started.
You're going to play next year?
Yep.
Let's
try out.
Goalie?
Something.
You'd
Or
be a great
defender.
goalie.
Midfielder?
Just stand in front of the goal.
I'll be a defender. Just go push people.
Yeah, you would love that. That's great. Thanks for coming on the show, Megan, Lake. Really appreciate it. Coming on the podcast and sharing some of your experiences and wisdom to other student athletes. I mean, it's invaluable for them to hear from you. People are going through this right now, and they may not know some of these things that you've experienced and can share with them. So thank you so much. It's great having you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Student Athlete Spotlight for our next session. We have Megan Gray from Leonardtown High School, going to Frostburg University, right? In 2 years, you're a junior.
Yeah.
So you committed early. That's great, and that's kind of normal for your sport, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I actually committed late for my sport.
Wow, right? So some people might not even know that. So when did you actually commit? What was the day?
I think I committed last month, somewhere around in February, early February.
Oh wow, okay. But you can commit September 1st.
Yeah.
Is that right? And a lot of people do in lacrosse.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really quick.
That's neat. Now, on your own team, do you have a lot of girls already committed to go to college?
So my team has 2 teams, and I joined the team pretty late.
Okay.
And
The high school has 2 teams?
Oh no, my club team.
Your
Sorry.
club team has 2
yeah,
teams.
my club team.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
But
Go
yes,
ahead.
a lot of people are already committed.
Wow, that's great.
It's quick.
So it's a pretty high-level team then. It's in Annapolis?
Yeah.
Right, so you travel 90 minutes to go compete, to be on this to practice and all these things. Now, when does that happen? That's not during the spring, right? You do high school now, and then you do the team when summer hits?
Yeah, it's right after the school season, and then it's also during the fall.
Okay, wonderful. So let's talk about the whole process. You've gone through it. If you look at academics, workouts, what have you changed once you realized you wanted to play lacrosse in college? What changed in your lifestyle? I'm assuming you made some changes, right? How you approach certain things, the amount of time you put in.
I mean, I've always kept myself in shape, busy, work on what I eat, things like that. But with recruitment wise, I guess it just heightened my social media presence and things like that. Cause I already lift. I make sure I get all my macros, and I make sure I get enough protein. I get enough sleep, especially sleep is important. Now,
is that something you've always done, or just started recently?
I've always done.
You always care about your sleep?
Yeah.
Does that come from mom and dad, or?
Yeah, because my parents are very healthy. So
Healthy?
I've always been this mindset to keep myself in a good shape.
How about academically? Is it something where you were an all-A student as a freshman, or did you have to work at it?
I really had no problem with school. I've always done honors.
Did you get all A's?
I guess not all A's, but not all A's. But I guess I get 1 or 2 B's. So I guess all A's except 1 or 2 B's.
So think back to you were a freshman. If you were a freshman again, and you were talking to some freshmen right now on this podcast that are listening, what would you tell them as advice going into freshman year?
Well, since I started lacrosse my freshman year, I really didn't know much about it. I just wanted to have fun with the sport, and I started getting serious about sophomore year. But my freshman year, I wish I knew more about it. I wish I researched more about it. But back then, I didn't know if I wanted to play in college, but it would have been nice to, know beforehand, so I could have gotten more exposure and to know more things about it before it's too late.
What are your hobbies? I
like to go to the gym, and I like to run. I like to eat.
Well, I guess where I'm going with it is it's important in this process, when you decide you want to play college sports, to also still be a kid, right?
Yeah.
And still have fun. You only get to high school once, right? It sounds like you do that. You do the things you like to do. You still work out. You run. You already eat healthy anyway, so you got that down pat. Academically, you do well. Sounds like you could have done a little bit better, though.
Yeah.
You could have put a little more time in and got all A's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
That's something I wish I did work on, because right now I have a 3.68, but the higher your GPA is, the more academic scholarship money you would get. So I should take into account for that.
Absolutely. What do you want to study?
I'm not really sure yet. Maybe something in the sports science, sports medicine field, or exercise science. I think I might want to be a physical assistant or a physical therapist, but I'm not really sure yet.
All right. That'd be fun. Have you ever had a chance to do any shadowing with that or internship?
Not yet.
Okay. You should do that. Check it out. I think that's really good for people, in high school. What you think your major is going to be is to kind of experience it a little bit. Because sometimes what we see on TV isn't what it really is, or we think it is. Everyone wants to be a forensic scientist, but what is that really? Talk about your team. You're excited about your season.
Yes, I'm so excited about my season. I love my lacrosse team.
You love your team?
I enjoy going
That's
to practice
fantastic.
every day. It's so fun.
Good. And you said you have an awesome coach.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Cynthia Lisa.
Okay.
She's the best.
She's the best?
Yeah, she works us hard.
What makes her great?
She's very, not necessarily like very strict, but she's very like cut to it. Like she makes sure we get everything done. We work hard, and if we're doing something wrong, she'll tell us. She doesn't like just, it's okay, guys. Like she'll tell us what's wrong, and I like how she cares about us a lot. Like she does a lot for the team. Like
that's great. Who are your other coaches?
Coach Bose.
Okay.
He's our like defensive coach.
Okay.
Yeah, I love him too.
All right, so in the college process, you've been to some campuses, obviously, because you had to make some decisions and you visited schools. What would you say are the 3 biggest things that you've learned or what were important to you that you chose Frostburg?
I feel like one of the most important things is like, would I go to this school if it wasn't for lacrosse?
That's a great one.
Yeah, and then I also look at the people on campus, like would I surround myself with these people every day? Like how would I be like walking here? Like would I be friends with these people? Like, and I also, I don't really care necessarily much about the area or like where it is. Like I don't care if it's too hot, too cold.
You're right about that.
Yeah, but I also care about like the majors they have and like what I can study for because lacrosse isn't forever. Like I need to find a job in the future.
How many schools did you say you visited?
Maybe not that many. Maybe about like 5.
Okay. There was definitely a difference. You got, for lack of a better word, boots on the ground at Frostburg, and you must have loved it, right?
I liked it a lot.
Liked it a lot. And was there a feeling you had when you were at the school?
It's really funny because that was like, I had already had a college visit like the weekend before, and I was just tired of like visiting colleges already. I was like, I just want to commit already. I want to stop. And then when I got to Frostburg, like I was like, okay, I want to go home. But then once I got there, and then I like watched the practice, and then I talked to the team afterwards, and I like talked to everybody. Like then I was like, wait, I really like it here.
Clicked.
And then they clicked. And then I went to the dorms, and it like looked like my room. It was funny. It had
Really?
it had funny posters everywhere. It was like kind of messy, but not really. And then the people there, they're just like me, and I really liked it.
That's awesome.
And then the next day, I practiced with the team, and I loved it. It was amazing. And it just, I was like, yep, this is where I want to go.
That's neat. Cool. So if you were talking to a freshman right now in high school, what advice would you give them entering the recruiting process for girls lacrosse? Is there something you maybe learned that you didn't know when you first got into it that you would tell them to, besides Twitter, is there anything else?
Yeah. If you like know you want to go to college for lacrosse right now, like definitely email coaches, even if they're like not gonna respond. Like they're still gonna see the message. Like email them for your tournaments, and make sure you go to camps early. Like don't waste your money though going to like a bunch and ones that like no one's gonna watch you. But
It's important to be seen.
Yeah,
You got to go where you're getting exposure, right? And coaches are seeing you.
Yeah.
That's great. And did you, as a sophomore then, last year, when did you start looking at colleges? I know you kind of get into the lacrosse late, but last year as a sophomore, were you visiting spring break last year? Were you on college campuses?
No.
No? When did you start visiting college campuses?
I started really late. It was summer of my sophomore year, so like after the season.
So last summer.
It was like after my last club tournament too. Like that was like the last time you get a look too. So I was like, this is pretty late. So then after that, I started doing like things outside of my club. I would go for showcases, and I tried out for like in lacrosse. Like we have like these popular showcases like Under Armour All America.
Yep.
And then we also have like Nike, American Select, and then I tried out for both teams and to get more exposure too. And then I made the spotlight team for Under Armour, and then I made the American Select yellow team. And I feel like that really helped a lot with my exposure too, because then one of the best like lacrosse players in the world was my coach, Taylor Cummings, and that helped a lot with like her coaching and then the exposure from all the coaches.
They all knew who that person was. That's neat. Last question. You seem to give a lot of love for Leonardtown too. Like it's a vibrant place for you, and you enjoy it. What makes it special for you?
Just like lacrosse in general, and I get the people because I'm friends with everyone outside of school, and I just like the environment because I love making new friends. I love yelling, and then everyone knows me because I'm like the loudest on the team.
Are you really?
I'm just really excited all the time, and then it makes me happy.
You get that from your mom, right? Is your mom like that too?
And it just makes me excited, like seeing everyone else happy, and then when I make them smile, it makes me like happy.
That's great. And talk about your mom and dad. What are their names?
Yoko and Doug.
Okay, and how about siblings?
Ken and Nicole, and Nugget, my dog.
Nugget? Is Nugget ranked pretty high in the family?
Yeah, she's like a human.
She's a human?
Mm-hmm.
So is your dad lower than Nugget?
No, everyone's the same level. Nugget's
Everybody's
just,
even?
Yeah,
'Cause
Nugget's
a lot of
with
times
them.
dads, we get knocked down.
No, everyone's...
Especially for like a pet. You know what I mean? No?
Nope, everyone's the same.
Are you the oldest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you're a role model too. They must look up to you.
Yeah, I made my sister start lacrosse this year, too.
You did? What grade is she in?
She's a freshman. She plays soccer, though. She's really good at soccer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks so much, Megan, for being on the show with us. You gave some great information for high school students. They can listen to this podcast and gain a lot of valuable stuff for them as they go through the process and prepare. Because it's daunting at times. The recruiting process and just being a teenager nowadays is hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot involved. So I really appreciate your time and your insight. And good luck this year. Hopefully you guys win the SMAC.
Hopefully, yeah.
All right, and we'll stay in touch. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.